Every begonia I have in semi-hydro, it has rejected it. Plant that surprised me the most, I thought LECA was going to be my quick fix, my solution to growing great plants, but everybody's journey is different. I transitioned these plants to LECA about 3 months ago. In the first part of this video, you're going to see that transition, and in the second part of this video, you're going to see the results. I will share with you what's happened after trying LECA for 3 months. I've chosen the plants for LECA and it's been sitting in water for 2 days. I didn't want it to sit in the water for 2 days, but I think they're fine. And the way I'm transferring it to LECA, I'm gonna have to do an upsize. I'm gonna need to do an upsize because I don't have right pots for it. And I know it's gonna grow or die, grow or die. I don't know. I just don't do well with LECA in the past. It's been like 2 years. The Alocasia white monster, and I had fluval. I don't know if I should scrub the roots. You know what? Let's do it. We're gonna scrub the roots. Oh look, this is working. It's very delicate. It's like there's still fluval kind of stuck to it. I don't know if that's gonna cause a problem. This is what the root looks like. And then this is like where the fluval was. So, shaving brush will need drying. So I have like I have two white monster, and this is the other one. Kind of want to do one in soil and one in LECA. You know, I might do it. I have nothing to lose. This one looks like it's better for LECA because it's a little cleaner. But it, like, in there is not really clean. You know, okay, it is what it is. There's another, this is going to be for LECA. This is a green dragon. Okay, so let me not show you all the plants. Let's just do it. So this one is going to go in soil, the one where there's a lot of stringy roots. And this one is going to go in LECA. All right, I mean, they're not exactly the same looking plant. For this one, yeah, I think that pot works for right now. I kind of, like, in my head, I want the roots to spread out a little bit and not just be plopped in there. Okay. All right, I have the... Oh, you know what? I think I want to stretch out the root. Yeah, that's fine. And then, oh my goodness, I'm doing LECA. Shut the front door. So this is one. This is exciting. That root, there is our aerial root. Oh, okay. The aerial root is here. Let me show you the size. I'm not looking to unpot this plant already. The size of the aerial roots is like that big. So hopefully it's gonna go into the LECA and kind of like really plant itself in there. So this one is in LECA and this one we're gonna pot up in soil. And we're gonna pot it in this planter. There is a lot of airflow in here, and yep, that works. We're gonna do that last. So I'm gonna continue working. You don't really want to see me pot every plant up. So this will be LECA, and this was in soil. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know because I know, like, I've done LECA before and the roots died off. And the plant was very unhappy. So let's see what happens. I believe this plant is going to be quite happy in here. Because, like, as soon as I watered it, as soon as I gave it like some water when it was in soil, it like perked right up because it wasn't happy. All right. Okay. Oh, dropped the LECA. Alocasia green dragon in a LECA setup. I'll water once they're all done. This is the Begonia crackling rosy. The roots, I don't know what's going to happen to it because I chopped off all the roots and it's the woody roots and not water roots. So we'll see what happens. If I lose the plant, I won't be too mad. It's not like it's an expensive plant, because I can like just, if I really wanted the plant back again, I'll repurchase. But if I see the plant going downhill, I will chop a piece off and repropagate that maybe. Begonia crackling rosy. I have experience with growing plants in soil, so I will be able to tell a little difference of like soil to LECA to see if it is any of a difference. So I'm gonna need to get some more self-watering pots, because I am gonna actually transfer more plants to LECA. This one I think is a Philodendron fuzzy patio, because like that new stem that started is very fuzzy. This was a plant I got a long time ago and I just kind of neglected it. It was a cutting, not a plant. So the cutting that I had is actually like rooting, so we'll see how it's gonna do. I have a Monstera white monster in LECA and one growing in soil. I just transferred them and hoping to see what happens. And I finished all the other plants. Oh my gosh, there's one more. There's one more. Oh, this was the this is the Monstera albo. I don't know why I thought it was a Monstera white monster. This, yeah, we're fine. I have to transfer this one too. This one is gonna go in soil. Officially done. Officially. It's been a little over 3 months. I'll put the exact date at the bottom. The 11 plants I transferred to LECA, we have results. And I have been so surprised by the results that I have on certain plants. Plants that I expected to do really well have not done well at all. And plants that I expected to do terrible have done very well. Shocked. I'm going to show you kind of one by one and walk you through how each plant did. So the first set of plants, we're going to do the good news, and then we're going to go to the bad news. So the good news is the plant that surprised me the most is the Hoya polynura. If you know the videos that I've shared about this plant, I even dedicated a video just for this being the most annoying Hoya ever in my life. And the results I'm getting in LECA is unbelievable. So this is what I have. The plant's doing really well. When I had this plant in soil, this is my 4th try with this plant. 4th try. And the 4th try I moved it to LECA. All the other 3 times it's been in soil. And the minute the plant come into my home, within 2 weeks, a month, it starts yellowing. Leaves are falling off. I have root rot. And surprisingly, it's doing so well in LECA. I've had it in LECA since the video because I actually propagated right into LECA with a high reservoir. So I'll show you the reservoir. I propagated right in here. I think I waited for the plant to get like a little bit of roots and I just put it in here. So this is what it looks like. Yeah, I'm just shocked at how this plant is doing. And no yellowing leaves whatsoever. I've not had any. And then, in fact, it started branching out and it grew a whole nother stem. And I did repot this one in a video that I had with you guys. I repotted this one into a bigger pot because of that one plant that was kind of growing in the grooves of the inner pot. In my head, this is why I think it's doing well. It is because it is a cooler loving Hoya. And I think because my room here is cold, it is appreciating semi-hydro. So that is what I think. I am growing semi-hydro in the Midwest. I'm in Indiana. Northern Indiana gets different temperatures and weather than southern Indiana. We've had summer conditions already, but right now the temperature is cooling down. Actually, this weekend felt like fall for us. And summer is coming on Sunday, and that day is going to feel like the beginning of fall for some strange reason, which I appreciate and love, but the plant room says differently. My grow cabinet in the morning, it still says 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is still a little cooler. So I'm thinking that is why this plant is loving semi-hydro. I did put it in a bigger pot like this to give it some sturdiness, because I do have it lower at the bottom because it's even colder there. The next plant that's doing really well is this one. Surprise! And there's, for some reason, I never have a algae problem with this pot. Versus, I'll show you another pot of another plant versus this one. This one always stays clear for some strange reason. You tell me why that happens. Tell me why. Okay, so this is the Maranta Massangiana. I think that's how you call it. It is supposed to be really black coloring in the leaves, but because I think the lighting is a little strong where I have it, it is messing with the coloring, but I am going to be taking it out of the cabinet. Okay, so there's two plants in here. This is the one plant that's sized up. This one is the other one, and it has not sized up. In fact, it is kind of running away from the light, so I'm definitely needing to move this one. It's anchored in a pot, so let's look at the bottom. Okay, so I have roots at the bottom. There is some roots at the bottom. Surprisingly, this has done well in LECA. I'm gonna leave it in LECA and let it size up. I will need to repot this because there are some roots at the bottom already, and if you know anything about Marantas, they don't like to get repotted. So I'm gonna put this in a bigger pot soon. I'll probably do this with you guys on the channel. I love how the leaves have sized up on this one. And you know, this is an example of two plants of the same species in the same pot growing completely different. And this one hasn't even given me any coloring as much as this one. I actually really love this plant. I love it. Okay, so the next one that's doing well, it's doing well for me. I know for some people are gonna be like, this is not doing well. Well, this is the Alocasia green unicorn, and this is the new leaf. I mean, the shimmer is really blinding me. It's really pretty, and this leaf just came out maybe about 2 weeks ago, and it took the longest time to acclimate to my growing conditions. The roots grew out first in the pot before I got a new leaf. I know I'm gonna have to make changes to this plant. This is the root, and I gave this a flush yesterday and gave it a water. So, which is why the reservoir is not as algae looking and green and dark, because I cleaned the pot. So I have to do that every time with a lot of these. I have a solution for my algae problem. I'm gonna execute it next month to see if it works for semi-hydro and covering up the algae. But so far, this plant is in the grow cabinet in here. I did unpot the plant, I think last month to check it because I was not seeing anything. Nothing was growing, and I felt like, I was like, is this even doing anything? So when I unpotted it, it looked fine. The roots looked great. And I'm like, well, let me put it back in. And that's when I got the new leaf. So I'm thankful for this new leaf and hoping it does stay. I don't know what I'm going to do once fall comes with alocasias. I have a plan in mind to see if it's going to work, but we'll see. Alocasias in winter here, it's too cold. Our room can drop to 57 degrees in this room. So the next plant I have, this one is the Philodendron fuzzy petiole. It's grown two new leaves since I've moved it to LECA, and the leaves have sized up and started getting fuzzy. A new one is coming in and it's doing okay. It's not, I don't know, it's not like the best, but one of the problems with philodendrons is that it starts off with a really thin stem, and even without a pole or anything, the stem starts getting thicker and then it weighs the plant down, and then you just have to have a pole or a moss pole. I will eventually just give it a pole. I don't do moss poles. So my semi-hydro LECA habits have been to flush the plant when the pot get a little bit too much algae. That's kind of my trigger. I don't know what's going to happen when I put the craft thing that I have in here to cover the algae. I don't know what my indicator would be, but maybe I would just flush it if the reservoir goes down. I mean, but I am flushing the LECA, and I think that is something I never did before because I think that's just so much work. But, you know, sometimes if you want to grow certain plants like this one, you might have to do a little bit extra work, because I took shortcuts for a lot of years in the houseplant journey. And some of the shortcuts definitely was not good for my plants. It just didn't work. All right, so let's do another one. So this one is growing in no drainage in semi-hydro, and there's a lot of algae. It is a Syngonium and is doing well. I've gotten a lot of new leaves from it, and I do flush this one as well. I just will go like this in the tub that we water in. I had to have it in no drainage because I didn't have a pot big enough for this one, because I didn't have a pot for this size. I had too big of a pot or I had too small, so I just decided to put it right in the cash pot. I really like how it's growing, just nice and fan, but I don't know how this plant is gonna do later. I don't really like those really big Syngonium leaves. I like when they're kind of juvenile like this and small. So if it starts to get bigger leaves, I might chop it, or I might end up giving this one away or selling it. I am not sure, but so far I'm enjoying this one. Okay, so this one is the Monstera White Monster, and there is a root at the bottom now. Wow. All right, let's check that out. We have a root at the bottom, and I did not flush this one yesterday. Okay, so this one, if you remember from the video, I moved one Monstera White Monster to semi-hydro and one was in soil. Well, the one that was in soil died. It got root rot and completely died. And I checked it too late. They were in the cabinet. The one in soil just did not do it. I did take some pictures of it before I threw it away, but the rot just started going up the plant. And by the time I saw where the rot was, it was too late. So this was a nice wish list plant that I had, and it's doing well in LECA right now. It's given me one new leaf, and I'm not sure how it's going to continue to do, but we'll see. I don't know how I'm going to take that. How am I going to take that out of the pot with those thick roots? I had to take it out of the grow cabinet because it doesn't need to be in there. It's going to get too big. It needs to grow in ambient humidity. So another one that's doing well is this one. This is the Pilea chocolate. I will be doing a video on this plant, a experience and care video, because I've had this plant the longest in my collection. It is one of my favorites. Look how dark that foliage is. This one, I'm having to restart it after winter every year because of the winter just does really a hard number on it. And I did move this one to semi-hydro, and there is roots. There is roots at the bottom. But it's doing well in semi-hydro, surprisingly, because this is my Begonia Black Magic, and it is not doing well. Every begonia I have in semi-hydro, even pon, it has rejected it. I've waited to give it some time. It's just not done well. But this one, I treat it a lot like a begonia, and it's done well in semi-hydro, so I'm going to continue growing it in semi-hydro. I have some in soil as well. Those are the ones for sale in my neighborhood. I just had to move some plants out of the way because they were taking up the light from the camera. So this one, I will continue growing it in semi-hydro, and I will really take an account of what it looks like during winter and see if I have to restart it again. I will need to repot this soon because it's already getting bigger. The roots are already coming out the bottom, so I'm gonna have to repot it. But this plant gets a little bit more bushy, but I'm not sure. It's not getting as bushy. And I think like once summer arrives here with more warmth, we will be able to get a bushier plant. Once winter comes, I'll probably take cuttings of this and restart it during winter and then see how this does, because I need to have a backup for this plant every winter because it just does not like the cold. So, but it's one of my favorites and underrated plants. I cannot wait to do a video on this. Okay, so the one that's not doing well. There's another one that's doing well. It is the Begonia Crackling Rosy. This one is surprisingly doing really well in semi-hydro. I don't know if it had to do with like how woody the stem is. The other begonias that I have, that's not doing well. The stem is not as woody as this one. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to save this plant. What I'll probably do is chop these nodes and restart it again a little later. But as of right now, I'm going to leave this in semi-hydro. It is in the grow cabinet, so I don't know if that is the reason why it's doing better. I don't know, but I'm glad that this one has bounced back. This one I had in soil in a self-watering pot, and I treated it so badly. I would let that self-watering pot dry out too far, and the plant suffered some fungal issues on the leaves, and right now I have nothing. Nothing's going wrong, so let's see. I'm going to continue trying it in LECA and see how that works. Okay, so let's talk about this one. So every other begonia I have that is in semi-hydro, this one is the only one in LECA, and then I have a few more in pon, and they just don't like it at all. Like the ends of it look good, but it's like it just starts going really downhill at the base here. And it's not as dark as it used to be. This plant used to be so dark, and it's not dark anymore. So I'm gonna move this back to soil in a regular pot with not self-watering, just to see how I can learn more about how to grow it the best. I think like I enjoy experimenting to find out which substrate works with my growing conditions in different seasons, and I'm gonna try soil drainage this summer. And I have another black magic growing in soil in self-watering, and it was doing really well at first, and now it's not doing well. I think because I let it dry out too much. I still do it. Even though I've gotten so much better with watering, paying more attention to my plants, there are times where I forget to like water this one because it's in self-watering. Sometimes I take it for granted and don't water as much, which I need to still water. All right, there is two more plants I want to show. So the Anthurium, oh, you know, I had another one in LECA. I had another begonia in LECA, and I showed it in the begonia repot video that I just did, and that one had rot. So that one did rot, but it was in LECA no drainage, but I was flushing it and there was still rot. Okay, so this one is a Anthurium Fort Sherman crossed with Ace of Spades. This one I've just not liking it. And you know, I've noticed there's no rot, but the plant has not uptake any water. Because I watered yesterday, and when I was watering this one, I'm like, man, there was no water missing from the pot. So I don't think it likes semi-hydro for me. I'm not going to do pond because I feel pond is a little too heavy for some of these plants. I feel like LECA is the lighter option that would do well for me. The begonias that I have in pond just really hate it. Now, I have a few Hoyas in pond, and the ones that I do have in pond are doing really well. We'll see. Okay, so there is a Hoya. Okay, so see how the pot gets? I've not flushed this one. Okay, so this is the Hoya multiflora I had in soil. It did not like it. I had to restart it and cut it. So this one have really anchored to the LECA, and it gave me 2 new leaves. I had this one in here, and yesterday when I was watering, I just noticed how bad it was, and when I tugged on it, it came right up. So I just don't have any roots. I'm putting this one in water to see what happens, if I can get roots, but I think this plant would do well in LECA because it's a thirstier Hoya. I don't really know if I've done the research to find out if it's a cooler loving Hoya, but doing better. This one's doing better, this one's not, but it's just not grown as much as compare this grows to this one. I mean, this grew so much. I missed a plant. This is the Monstera albo I moved to soil, and when I just grabbed this spot to check it, to show it to you, there's rot in this too. And this is so crazy because it didn't look like there was rot in there. This pot has a lot of aeration throughout. The pot dries out really quickly. Man, so I watered this yesterday, and now that I'm looking at it, because I'm able to take it out and show it to you guys, that spot right there that's turning black is rotted. And then when I touch this root, it's completely hollowed out. Well, I guess I'm gonna try to rehab this. If not, I'm just gonna chuck it because, and I was actually getting a new leaf and everything. So there are some things that's actually I've been learning about growing. I'll be doing a video on this soon. I want to say in July. But this cabinet holds too much humidity. I've had to make changes to it to drop the humidity even now, because the cabinet, in the morning, the cabinet is 67, 69 degrees, but then the humidity is in a range of 90 to 100% in the morning. And that is not good. That is a recipe for root rot if you didn't know that. I have been doing a lot of research into VPD, and that is what I've been learning and what I've been getting with those kinds of readings. So I am going to be doing a video on this. I'm continuing my little research. I have kind of prepared a script already to do the video and a little experiment, so look out for that. I'm going to be chopping the roots off this plant and rooting it once more. I cannot believe that. Okay, I will add, I know that pH balancing is a thing as well with semi-hydro. I just haven't had time to do that. And I think once I get the time to do it, I will test the pH of our water and see if that is the reason why I'm having issues with some of my plants in semi-hydro. So there's still a lot of work and a lot of researching and experimenting involved with growing in semi-hydro for me, especially in our climate. That's my LECA story. Yeah, if you have any, I'm afraid to ask, but if you have any advice for me growing in semi-hydro in a cold climate, please let me know. Because in summer, we are hot and humid here, but once winter comes, it's cold and dry. So we'll see how it is. The plans I have for the alocasias that I have, I want to grow all my alocasias in LECA. And I think the only way I'm able to do this is with a heat mat during winter and having a terracotta pot, like a terracotta pot at the bottom, because the terracotta would collect the heat from the heat mat and give it to the alocasias. And that way during winter, they can still stay warm. That is going to be something I'm going to try this winter. And when I try it, we will report back in spring how my alocasias did once I implement that. I'm going to do that right there to some of my alocasias. I don't really want to buy any more alocasias because of it's just a lot of work to grow an alocasia to be really pretty during summer and then having to see it decline during winter. I'm tired. There's just some things in the plant journey that weighs you down, and it weighs me down emotionally, physically. I just don't have the time to keep rehabbing plants every spring. And like I had to rehab all my Hoyas really this spring because of the shortcuts I took. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I want to grow healthy plants. I don't need to grow giant plants. I just want to grow healthy plants. So I am going to continue experimenting to see if something will work. And if something doesn't work, I'm not going to do the same thing expecting a different result. I don't think I want to do that with alocasias. It's not healthy. There is someone I watch on YouTube that she grows her plants in semi-hydro in LECA and pond in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin temperature is very close to what we experience. And her plants do quite well, and I want to see if I can get that for my plants. I do think this room in the winter is cooler overall because of just our windows are not fully sealed. There is moisture and air that escape with our windows. So I think that's part of the problem for me. To change all our windows in this house is just a cost that we cannot undertake yet. If anything, I would rather have a bigger kitchen versus new windows if I had to choose. If I had a full-time job with my husband working full-time, we would still not be able to afford it. But yeah, until then, this is the room I'm in. This is the conditions I have. If you have any advice growing semi-hydro in cold climate, let me know. So these are my plants. I'm gonna have to give some plants a little rehab. This one's gonna need a rehab, and this one's gonna need a rehab as well. So yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day, and always remember you are loved. It is now time for me to eat the breakfast. I am starving. Lay off me, I'm starving. Nom nom nom.